Hi beekeepers. This is the third time that I've tried to get this little clip for you. Every other time there's been some horrific neighborhood noise. Chainsaws, lawnmowers, string trimmers, something. So for the moment, while it's quiet, I'd like to say that these noises in the video just can't be avoided. So do the best you can and pick the nicest day. Today is an absolutely glorious day to be in my bee yard right here. I'm Jim Tew, and I'm making this short clip for you to support an article that I've written for the November 2021 edition of Bee Culture magazine. In that article, I discussed the fact that, as so often the case, beekeepers are responsible in some odd way for any insect that stings in the beekeeper's neighborhood, family circle, church, civic organizations, work associates. Once they find out you keep bees, oh yeah. You know, I was stung by a bee that came out of the ground and stung me on my ankle. Can you come by and help me with that? So I've talked to Kim Flottam, the former editor of Bee Culture magazine and co-host of the podcast that he and I do of Honeybee Obscura. He's pretty firmly convinced that in general beekeepers should not be helpful, be involved, maybe a better word, because of legal situations. If I go over on my neighbor's property to attack yellow jackets with a can of spray and someone else is stung or someone reacts to the spray, then what's going to happen? I said in the article on 2 separate occasions, trying to kill bald-faced hornets for no other reason than the neighbors had found them after the leaves had dropped. And I managed to fall off a ladder not once but twice on different occasions in different nests and different removal episodes in the dark. It is a risk. I'm an entomologist, I admitted that, and as such I have kind of a general interest in all insects, and specifically stinging insects, and then ultra specifically honeybees. But you know, I think if I were just a honeybee keeper, and I shouldn't say just like that's demeaning, but if I didn't have this entomological interest, I wonder if I'd have any interest at all in Polistes and paper nest, paper wasp, bumblebees, carpenter bees, and all these other insects. So in general, any of those bees, any of those hornets or wasps are all considered bees. And since you have the clothes, since you have the ability, the expertise, since you must be able to take insect stings, I'm allergic, you get that all the time, that people are allergic. So you're stuck. As a beekeeper, if you keep bees long enough, I'll bet you that at some point you're going to end up having to explain to someone that whatever stung them was in fact not a honeybee. And that even though you're probably sympathetic with the sting and the anxiety and the concern they have about the allergies they perceive themselves having, that it really was not your issue, it was not your bee. And then you look like you don't care, you know, so Kim's right, in his opinion, that we shouldn't be involved any more than we have to, if at all, because of legal reasons, and no exterminator's license and whatever. But on the other hand, I've known my neighbors for 30 years, 35 years. They've had swarms in their yard from my bees. They've been stung by my bees. My bees have spotted their cars. My bees have been all over their bird watering devices and in their spring bird feeders. My neighbors have tolerated my bees. So if they ask to help with the ground nesting yellow jacket nest, I kind of think you ought to try to do something. And then when you start, you get in deeper and deeper. What if it doesn't work? Then you're responsible for it. This story had no happy ending. Just know, if you keep bees, sooner or later you are going to be asked to help with stinging insects that are not your bees and really should not be your problem. But that's just what it is. It's just It's just an extra lot that we bear. So the next time you're asked to take down a hornet's nest, to come get this thing down, you can develop your own stories. When you get up, you realize, I'm comfortable and confident around honeybees, but these insects don't sound the same. They're bigger, they're hitting my veil harder. Am I fully protected? And even if you're an established beekeeper, you can have remarkable flashbacks to your first years when you had those feelings about honeybees. So, you decide what you're going to do. I can't decide for you. No one can decide for you. And the decision you make in one instance may not be the decision you make in another instance. And I want to finish on this note. If you don't think you can get the project finished in a competent way, you really shouldn't start it. Because starting it, making a mess, then having to call somebody else in is worse than never starting it at all. Thanks for listening. I look forward to talking to you next month. Jim Tew. Bye-bye.